Chest press, level 3. In the chest press level 3 exercise, you're going to start this laying on a roller, a 36-inch roller, so that it's able to support your entire spine and your head. First thing you're going to want to think about is your client actually being able to be stable on the roller. So for your client to be stable on the roller, first thing they're going to do is go ahead and sit up for a second, Matt. So notice, of course, go ahead and stay there, yep. So when the client first sits on the roller, you'll want to keep your foot, as you see I'm doing here, on this side of the roller. Obvious reasons, so the roller doesn't flip up, because you're going to have them sit on the very edge of that roller. Then have your client lay down, and as they lay down, get close to the client so that you can support them in case they begin to roll off. Of course, depending on the client's stability and age and different risk factors like their mechanics and the health of their joints, all those kind of things, you may be more cautious or less cautious. Obviously, if it's Matt and it's a super athlete in his 20s, I don't really need to look after him like that. But if it's an older aging client and they have a lot of issues, you should really pay attention to that. Once the client's here, laying on the roller, then what you want to do is make sure that they have good stability there. So in the knees bent position that you see here, this is going to be the most stable position, and the wider the feet are with knees bent, so let's go even a little wider, this is going to be the most stable position. Then as we start bringing the feet closer together, this is less and less stable, and then let's go knees straight, bring the feet apart. So with the feet apart and the knees straight, now we're getting into a little less stable, but as we bring those feet together, then it starts getting, even without weight, you really have to start using your core to balance there. So those are nice progressions to get into with the legs, but that is the first thing you want to think about, is where should the client's legs be for stability. So let's go ahead and go to a stable position. Next thing you want to think about is handing the weight to a client, handing a dumbbell to a client over their face. This can get really, really dangerous if not done right, especially when you're going to hand thousands and thousands of repetitions of dumbbells to clients over your career. So best way to do this, once they're totally stable and they're comfortable and you're comfortable with their stability, then what you want to do is hand them one weight at a time, and you want to make sure the client takes the weight from you. You can even ask, do you have it? Okay, once they have it, stay steady. He's going to stay there in balance. He's going to be able to do that. Depending on how much load he's lifting, you might have to hurry to get the next dumbbell safely, or you can take a reasonable amount of time depending on how fatiguing or how heavy that weight is. So we're going to hand the next dumbbell. Do you have it? Yep. Okay. So that's how to securely get the client into this position, hand them the dumbbells. Once you've handed them the dumbbells, now the body mechanics become very, very important. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to have the client depress and retract the scapula, and when that happens, the lower back will lift. That's totally natural, but we want to get rid of that. So we want to have scapula stabilized position and lower back down. Go ahead and do a repetition. Good. Go ahead and do another rep. Good. And you wouldn't be sitting in this position that I am here while the client's necessarily doing this. I'm showing this due to the video and education. Go ahead and keep your lower back down, scapula stabilized position. Although what you can do is when you're coaching the client, especially in the beginning, you can come around to this position because this is the best way to cue the scapula into that scapular depressed, stabilized position, and then feel the lower back. Go ahead and continue. So that's how the coaching would look in the beginning. They may not even do a full reps because you're having them hold the weight for so long and really focus on the alignment. Then obviously in real time, this exercise would look like this. And you can either squat there to spot, continue, or you can kneel here. And you can take a side angle, do some trunkling yourself to see how the client's aligning. If you need to come around to the other position to help physically cue, you can do that. Once you're done, stay stable. and the other hand. And typically our fitness doctor practitioners have an assistant with them, so potentially you and your assistant could hand both dumbbells carefully with procedure at the same time and then remove as well. For the chest press level 3 exercise, it's just going to be with scapular stabilized position, full range of motion, go ahead. Doing full range of motion with scapular stabilized position, continue. With no scapular protraction at the end. And make sure that the client is only coming down to the degree that their humeral head does not anteriorly translate. So go ahead and push back up. So some clients in the bottom of the repetition, in the bottom of the eccentric action, go ahead. That shoulder, like that, did you see this in the video? It begins to protrude forward, so push back up. So you want to make sure the scapula stays stabilized and that you're not seeing any, pause and back up. You're not seeing any anterior humeral head translation where that humeral head is lifting up. Go ahead and do it wrong, 1 rep. Yes, so the anterior humeral head is beginning to pop up, and you don't want that. You want that humeral head to stay very stabilized and not translate forward. So for some clients, that means you're going to have to cut off some of the end range of eccentric repetition, and that's for all chest presses. You may have to cut off end range. Do your best for scapular stabilized position first and foremost, and secondly, make sure that the anterior humeral head, you don't see it translating like this motion here at the end of the repetition.